One person, yay. All right. Who are you? Identify yourself, if you wouldn't mind. Ah, okay. One person watching, two people watching. Yeah, welcome. You're very welcome. Guys, this is something I'll be repeating. I'll be repeating quite a bit. And that is the reason why I'm not making a regular video is because I have had COVID for what's feeling like weeks on end, and I'm just not not able to do it. I'm feeling better, but I'm just not able to squeeze out a video. So I figure I'd do these live videos, and this is going to be an interesting rant of certain of some sorts, or of a sort. You could tell my collar is a bit stretched out from coughing. I'm hoping I'm not going to be going into a coughing fit, but if I do, please bear with me. So, guys, all three of yous, I'm looking over this way because this is a screen where I have things I'm going to be reading off to you regarding Berkeley, and I'm also going to be able to see if you put a comment. So there we have it. Okay, so why don't we get right down to it? Recently, a friend of mine sent me he sent me something from Support the Berkeley faculty from change.org, and I wanted to see what that was. Now, I should tell you that I'm sure if you see my videos, you see me introduce myself as Professor O'Kane. Professor O'Kane is not something that I made up. I've been a professor for a long time. I was teaching at University of Miami Studio Music and Jazz program, the performance program there at what is now the Frost School of Music, and I taught there for 17 years. And then I've been teaching at another university for a long time. So I'm a professor. Now, I said that not to, not to blow my own horn. I said that just so you know, like as a baseline, that I've been through a lot of stuff as far as, uh-oh, I hope it's not starting. Okay, so forgive me, I'm gonna have some of my vodka here. Yeah, that's so much better. I'm telling you my background regarding being a professor for a reason, and that is so you don't think I'm concocting any of my opinions like with no basis. I think that that's something that's very important for you guys to understand, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment, or you'll hear what I mean. So, anyways, my friend sent me this thing from change.org that said support Berkeley faculty, and I'm thinking, with what? Berkeley faculty is a lot of them are very high paid, some are not as high paid, but we're going to get to all of that. And I figured that if this was something that had been made public, it was a pretty big deal. Now, this is what the union wants. The teachers union. Now, they're very lucky in the fact that they have a teachers union. Now, the teachers union, the Berkeley teachers union is associated with, they're a chapter of the American Federation of Teachers. And the question is does, and it says local 4412 AFTMA AFL-CIO. Now I know up in the Northeast, unions can have a lot of power, and if they have a lot of power, that's fantastic. What do you think is the red button, the nuclear bomb? And that would be striking. That's the most drastic thing that a union can green light. Hey there, Trevor. What's happening, man? So this is what the union wants. Pay commensurate with our professional achievements, elevated living costs, and impact of inflation. Trevor, if you look at the thumbnail, it says everything. It's provocative. It says trouble at Berkeley School of Music. So hopefully that helps you out there. So the first thing, like I said, they want pay commensurate with our professional achievements, elevated living costs, and impact of inflation. Okay, we're going to address these in just a moment. Expanded commitment to accessible, safe, and healthy facilities. Okay. Equitable conditions and compensation for all faculty, especially the Conservatory faculty, because Berkeley bought Boston Conservatory, so they're under the same umbrella. Adherence to accreditor recommendations on workload. Okay, let me break all of this stuff down for you, okay? So pay commensurate with our professional achievements. Talk about nebula. Planet Nebula is where that exists. That is fluff. In my opinion, that's fluff. I know somebody would say, hey, I want a Grammy. I want a $40,000 raise if I'm teaching here. Then, if somebody wins an Emmy, then, are you going to pay the guy or the girl with the Grammy more and then the Emmy less? Or somebody who, is working, with Hans Zimmer, do they get paid more than the person who won it? It's just, it's fluff. It's fluff. Pay commit. And now this is important, guys, because we're talking about music teachers, music education. This stuff is about the educators who are on the front line and having to endure certain things that they're not happy with. Okay. And as a professor, I thought that I'm just going to go ahead and comment on it. I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in it. I hope people will be. I hope you'll find it interesting, because Berkeley, if you've never heard of Berkeley School of Music, it's everywhere. It's international. It's a huge, huge corporation organization. And there are a lot of really positive things about Berkeley. Their online environment is astounding. It's the best. The online environment is simply the best in college music education. Why are they the best? Because they've had so much time to work on it, and they have teams that help mechanize everything, and it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting. And if you're going to get an education from Berkeley online, you're going to get a pretty damn good education, because they got their what together. Now we're going to be looking at this. So the next bullet point is expanded commitment to accessible, safe, and healthy facilities. I think we can all agree that you don't want to work in a sick building. I did, and it was absolute crap. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I got sick in that building. And they had carpet on the walls that had never been cleaned. When I say never been cleaned, I'm talking about from the 70s when they put it up there. Never been clean. So it was just a disaster. So I think that to have accessible, safe, and healthy facilities is an issue for music educators, and they deserve that. And if the facilities in Berkeley aren't up to snuff, which is just mind boggling because they charge so much money for tuition that they can't fix that stuff, I mean, there's really no excuse. So, equitable conditions and compensation for all faculty, especially conservatory faculty. What we're going to learn is that the conservatory faculty are making less money than the people at Berkeley, even though they're all under Berkeley. They're just making less. Why are they making less? They're classical musicians. They deserve it. No, just joking. They're not, maybe they're not all classical. But my guess is that, I don't know much about Boston Conservatory, but my guess is that they are all classical musicians. And I knew a lot of classical musicians that were teaching, and they were not making a lot of money. Remember, Boston is really, really expensive. It's a really expensive place to live. And you want to make a fair wage so you can afford to live at least within the general area of the school. And I think that that's, it's when they're asking for equitable conditions and compensation for all faculty, who knows what that means? Again, more fluff. But you will find as you scroll down from this thing, you can go to change.org and look at the same thing I'm looking at. It's support Berkeley faculty. So increased job security for part-time faculty. I was a part-time faculty member, and full-time and part-time and full-time and part-time when I was at University of Miami and the school that I'm at now. I don't even know what to say. That is a pipe dream. That is a pipe dream. Increased job security for part-time faculty. I have very, very conflicted and mixed feelings about that, because I lived it. I live it. And it really is crap. It's not, it's actually really tough on the professor. It really is. And there's a fantasy though that your job is going to get better. And that is, like, you could see that I'm just like, I'm getting a rush of all of these thoughts and feelings about this thing. I was told by the head of the jazz program at University of Miami, the head of the studio music and jazz program, forget it. You ain't never getting full time. That's just the way it is. The school does not like nepotism. In other words, the school does not want to hire its graduates, and don't have any hope. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily, well, actually that turned out to not be the truth, because the school ended up hiring loads of people that had graduated from there. They just didn't hire me. So, c'est la vie, right? When you achieve a bachelor's in music or a master's in music, a lot of times you do that because you want to teach somewhere. Now, for the most part, there are no full-time, well, there are very few full-time positions. There just are. There are very few full-time positions. There are loads of people with higher degrees, meaning master's and the terminal degree, the doctorate's degree, PhD, that are hunting for those same jobs. So the competition is really stiff. Um, and these schools, University of Miami for sure, is notorious for running all of their departments with part-time labor. So you go to school, you get your master's, you get your PhD, and now you're going to have a part-time job. I remember as an undergraduate, it was my first year, and there was a percussionist who was teaching the music theory class, and or was it, maybe it wasn't music theory because that would seem odd. He was teaching something, and when I found out that he was a doctor, I just assumed, you know, as a young lad, I would expect if you're a doctor, you're going to be full time. No, he was part time. So that was years and years ago. So that thing still exists. Why does it exist? It exists because universities are a business. Business. Okay, yeah, you're going to get an education there and everything, but the people who are running it need an army of part-time employees because they don't want to pay benefits and big salaries and pensions and 401ks and all of that other stuff. So when I see this thing, increased job security for part-time faculty, listen guys, you need to wake the F up, because there is no job security as a part-time employee in a music school. Okay, there's no job security as a part-time employee in music school. I don't know why the union would even write that, because that just seems just idiotic to me, because that tells me, you know, that's like they're just throwing anything that they can against the wall. It also tells me, if that's up there, that part-time faculty members have been, you know, maybe wrongly so. Now, adherence to creditor recommendations on workload, that's a real issue. That is a real issue. So what it's insinuating is that they're making the faculty work more than they should, and they're not compensating them for it, and they're going beyond their teaching hours. So these colleges are accredited by an accrediting body, and they have to follow the rules. The rules are the law for the university. Okay, just like the faculty handbook is the law for the university. So if it says adherence to accreditor recommendations on workload, it means that, to me, that there's probably violations, and that's a problem. That's a real problem. Now, here are the complaints. For the entire summer and now into the fall, administration has dismissed our requests for substantive dialogue on important issues. Now, why do you think the administration would do that? Any ideas? Hey, Ben Tom, how's it going? What did you miss? You missed quite a bit. I'm just warming up though. Look at the thumbnail, you'll see what this is about. Okay, so dismissed our request for substantive dialogue on important issues. Okay, so the administration, let's just say at Berkeley, well, this isn't actually fantasy, this is reality. The administration, yeah, thanks. Okay. Sorry, this is the third time saying it. The administration makes a lot of money. Like, you're making six figures. So they're doing pretty well. They're actually making enough to afford to live in Boston proper. Now, why would they be dismissing substantive dialogue or dialogue, because they don't have a lot of power. Remember, the administration takes orders. And a lot of times, even though their station is higher, their pay grade is higher, they don't really have a ton of power. So they're not going to be able to talk to the union until they're told that they can talk with the union. And the shot callers, the dean, the president, the board, okay, those people are going to be involved too. Now, guys, remember, we're talking about all of this, and it's a music school, okay? People earning 6 figures a year, teaching in a music school, and complaining. You know, sometimes I hear this stuff, and the first word that comes to my mind is ungrateful. They're not grateful for their positions. Now, I'm not saying that that's across the board. That's a big thing. And I think that if there are some Berkeley employees that are going to watch this, maybe they're going to get pissed off about it. But I could care less, really. But it's my estimation, my guesstimation. Making 6 figures as a musician. My God, it's a massive privilege. Now, you could say also that if you're not making, what does it say? I think that you were insanely underpaid at University of Miami. You don't even know what I went through there. A lot of great times, a lot of laughs, and some horrendous times, like the worst of my professional career that was brought on by some angry students and all sorts. I've been through it all. I really have been, well, mostly. So back to what I was saying about people earning large salaries, and you kept me from losing my mind. Oh, hey, you're very kind. A metric ton. I wish I had a metric ton of savings. Anyways, I think that that's it's just important to keep that in the backdrop, in how do you say, running the background, that these people earned a ton of money, that they are earning a ton of money, and guess what? They don't want to risk their positions. Their positions are not, they're not just like stamped in stone. So even administration has to be very, very, very careful what kind of chopping block, or to stay away from the chopping block. If you lean your neck out too far, maybe you're going to get it. Okay, here's the next point. Refuse to acknowledge considerable and long-standing inequities for part-time faculty and faculty at Boston Conservatory. If you're part-time, you have signed up to take a cruise on the USS Inequity. Okay? If you are teaching part-time at a music school, that should be like right there where you sign your name to the contract. Because, by the way, they do make you sign a contract every semester. It can also be yearly. I've signed many of them. So just like right next to the signature, it just should say like, you are going to be treated like not that great. That's just the breaks. And they're going to ask of you to do a lot of stuff. And if you how do I say, if you go and start thinking, looking at the full-time professors and thinking, yeah, that's going to be me, that's going to be me, I would just caution you to make sure, to make doubly sure that there's an actual path to do that. Because if there isn't, prepare for the inequities and shut up about them. Why am I so hardcore about this? Because This has been going on forever, and it was actually a lot better years ago. But now what they're going to do, well, what they do is they pay very poorly. Okay, so let's say they pay you $43 an hour before taxes. Now you might think, hey, where else can I earn that for? Well, you're only teaching, let's say, an hour and a half, 2 times a week, or 3 hours, 1 time a week. Yeah, man, God love you for working with special needs kids. But let me not get sidetracked. So you're working for 3 hours. Let's say that's if you're teaching a class. If you're teaching private lessons, it's another thing, or ensembles. But if you're teaching a class, that's a lot of preparation, and the money is not good. Some universities will pay more. A lot of times, I was making at one point a really nice wage per hour at University of Miami. I think it was like anywhere between $63 and $75 an hour. I mean, that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know how I just kept asking for raises. I just kept asking for raises, and they kept giving them to me. But back to what I was saying is, prepare for the inequities. Boston Conservatory, I don't know how many employees they have, but when Berkeley swallowed them up, they probably knew, the board knew going into it, that eventually the professors over there were going to look at the professors at Berkeley and say, WTF, why am I not being paid the same amount? And, they have a point, but also you're a music teacher, and you have to, this corporation, if there's, 60 employees that are making a full-time wage, or let's say 50 employees making a full-time wage, do you think that they're going to be able to raise that by $13,000 each person? I don't think so. I don't think so. Remember, universities are businesses. They want their expenses to be as low as possible, and they want to make the most amount of profit, right? So how much does Berkeley charge a year? I'm just going to throw out a number, 240. I'm sorry, not a year, 4 years, $240,000. Okay? Yes, they've got a lot of expenses in Boston. A lot of expenses. Think, to run the facility, the electricity, to pay out the wages for multiple people. But let's face it, that school is super expensive. Okay, so can they find the money? My guess is yes. Yeah, I did. And you know what? I wouldn't do that now. I wouldn't sit in the dining hall now. Why? Because inevitably, this is a whole other thing. And I did a video called 20 survival tips. The 20 survival tips for professors and teachers. And it would be bad form to go and hang out with the students in the lunchroom. You are opening yourself up. Probably nothing's going to happen, but you're opening yourself up to all sorts of problems. That's a whole nother topic. Now, here's the other thing. Rejected proposals that recognize faculty contributions to stability and success of the institution. Let me interpret that for you. Rejected proposals. Do you know how many freaking do you know how many freaking rejected proposals I was a part of? I literally don't remember how many. So many that, I've put time, I've put research into it. 3K, haha. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But hey, hats off to you for being able to do that. But we made many proposals, and that it was just toilet paper. It got to the point when they're like, yeah, okay, let's do a white list. And I'm thinking like, me whole, I'm not doing a white list again. I'm not going to make suggestions again. I'm not going to have a brainstorming session with you guys. I'm going to find a way to not show up or go to the bathroom for most of it because it's pointless. It is pointless. Now, recognize faculty contributions to the so rejected proposals that recognize faculty contributions to the stability and success of the institution. I know what that means, and so aside from the proposals that nobody reads, nobody gives an F about, or whatever, the faculty wants, judging by this, they want to be recognized and granted stability in their job. What planet are they living on? What planet are they living on? Am I saying it's wrong? No. I am not saying that it's wrong, but I am saying, what planet are you living on? I mean, for people who are full-time at Berkeley, they've got to understand what the game is. Okay? They've got to understand what the game is. If they don't, I don't get it. I mean, they must. There are very, very bright people. There's no dummies on that faculty. There's super bright people, and there's some very smart, politically smart. You know, when I'm talking about political, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about political in the university context only. Okay, so that to me right there is like, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. I'm surprised that the union puts it, but then again, the union is usually full of bullshiznits, and I just, yeah, I find it kind of astounding. So then what they do is they have a chart here that, I wonder if I could switch this. I could just show you. I don't know how well it's going to turn out, but let me just switch the angle. I mean, the direction here. And look at that chart. Those are the part-time faculty to full-time faculty graphs. So if you look at this one, we have 681 part-timers to 358 full-timers. Okay, I mean, you can see this actually shows you that the trend has started way before 2017 and is moving on. Okay? I mean, it's sad. It really is sad. This is part of what's wrong with this country. But it's not just this country. It's the same thing in Ireland. It's the same thing everywhere internationally. You know why? Because everybody is on the business boat, right? Just like us part-time people, we're on the USS Inequity. The board and the higher ups at the university, they're on the business boat, and they're all about making money. The deans and the presidents are all about getting donations. Okay, I know somebody who spoke about the current dean over at University of Miami, and he said in his southern drawl, he said, well, Dean Berg is just a genius at prying millions out of the hands of wealthy people. So there you go. But back to this graph here. 681 part-timers. Let's just look at 358 full-timers. 358 full-timers, let's say that includes people making, let's say, anywhere from 120,000, right, to 73,000. I mean, the cost for this is huge. I don't want to say it's astronomical, but it's huge. And then 681 part-timers. What would happen if all the part-time music professors stopped teaching? Just said, you know what? F this, I'm not showing up this semester. And they all did it. Do you think that would make an impact? All schools are about making money inside jazz guitar. Yes, they are. At the top, yeah, from the top down, yes, it's about making money. From the bottom up, it's about teaching the students. And the two always go like this. In some way or another, some institutions do that worse. You know, like the people are trying so hard at the bottom, and these MFers at the top make the stupidest decisions and usually take a dump on these people too at the same time. When I say stupidest decisions, I mean, I wouldn't say that this might not be Berkeley, because Berkeley is so successful. See, Berkeley understands the like hang the carrot in front of the donkey kind of thing. You know, all their gear, all the big names, the facility, being in Boston. Like, how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong? It is a massive carrot to dangle in front of the you know, the prospective student, and you want to sign up. You want to sign on the line. You want to take that loan. You want to take that effing loan. You don't care. You just want to be there. But that effing loan is going to be, even with the scholarship, if you still had 150 to pay off, you're going to be paying that off for a very, very long time, or never. The bottom line, folks, and I've been going on for a while now, and I cannot believe that this COVID thing has not gotten me coughing so badly. As I said, I stretched out my shirt coughing, so I was coughing so much earlier. I felt that this was very important to bring up, because there is surrounding music schools, there is this aura of, like, if you go to music school, you're gonna be great. And there's this big behind the scenes. They lied to you at the Art Institute. What a shocker. I couldn't even imagine that happening. I don't lie, so that's not something that I was gonna do, you know. But that's I'm not gonna comment anymore on that. The veritable army of part-timers which are running the machine are all of these institutions, and the top, here's the perfect example, the top institution, the most popular one, the one with the most students. I just read that they're saying we're having a burgeoning year, like the biggest year. The most students are coming in this year. They probably are lapping. They're probably lapping up all of the information and the experiences. They're 1 month into school. They're loving it. The biggest year. The biggest year. So, of course, the faculty and the union, you know, as their mouthpiece, they're going to start groaning because they want more. The question that I mean, not the question, but the observation that I would put to all of these full-timers is you have to take a look in the mirror and see how lucky you are, all of ye, to have that job, to have a full-time job teaching music and making thousands of dollars per month. You got to wake up. I'm talking to any of you full-time Berkeley people who may have made it this far, and if you didn't, whatever. I think that there's some kind of ungrateful thing that's going on to perpetuate this. If you have full medical, of course, full medical, and dental, you may as well throw that in, and vision. Yeah, they get all of that, and retirement, and 401k, poof, 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 poof. Yeah, all of that stuff. Now, the part-timers, yeah, tell me about it. The part-timers, now, they have something else, you know, that they have power in numbers, but part-timers are kind of like, many of them are yes men and women, because they're so happy to be working at the institution that they're working at. They're not going to want to make waves. And also, you cannot tell me that at least 3/4 of them don't have a dream that at some point, that they're going to be full-time. Otherwise, why are they staying in Boston? Now, I don't know everybody, and I'm making a guess when I say that, but that's what I've experienced being a part-time music professor. I've also been full-time, but I've been part-time a lot. And everybody has the dream of not having to drive around 3 different schools and teach part-time at 3 different campuses. And B, just to be able to really have a solid position at the school that they love. Now that's a lot of part-time faculty, 681 people. You worked at an IT job and full-time because exploitation of the working and middle class. It's not just Berkeley. Of course, inside jazz guitar. Yes, I said that earlier. It's not just Berkeley. It's everywhere. It's international. Like I said, it's in Ireland, it's in Italy, it's everywhere. Part-time, there's usually one full-time guy. Sometimes that full-time guy is also the chair, the department chair, and then the rest of the people are part-time. And they're part-time to various degrees. Some people might be teaching 35 hours. Or schools, it's problematic. It's emblematic of the problem with capitalism. Yeah, well, what can we say about that? I mean, I understand that it's a business. It's just this thing. Like I said, guys, if you want to see this thing, if you go to change.org and you search for support Berkeley faculty, Berklee, as in Lee Burke. Lee Burke is the guy who founded it, but it's Berkeley. Support Berkeley faculty. They have 3,642 signatures. They're looking for 5,000 signatures. I have not decided if I'm going to sign this or not, because some of this stuff is like from Captain Nebula, like I pointed out earlier. So yeah, I'm just reading there's also reasons for signing. You can write your reason to sign, and you can wax on as much as you want to. But anyways, guys, I've really gone on a long time. I've gone on 46 minutes, and that's like 15 minutes longer than I wanted to. I really hope that this gives you some kind of look at the underbelly of not only Berkeley, but all music schools. Because this is going on everywhere, just like Inside Jazz Guitar said. This is going on everywhere. And you know what? I don't think it's ever going to stop. I think it's just going to get worse. I think it's just going to get worse. That's not me being dark. That's not me being, negative about it. But I could tell you that my next door neighbor is a sociology professor at University of Miami. And he said, I don't know, there was a name for it, a sociological name for what's happening now as far as the lowering of the middle class from a fiscal perspective. I can't remember the name. I wish I could. It would have made me sound really smart. So I'm kind of reaching here. But I don't see the pay going up. The pay has not gone up at my school. I can't tell you for how many years I've been making the same hourly wage. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. It's pathetic, and it's expected. It's what I would expect from a university. It's not what I would expect from the most powerful university, one of the most wealthy universities, such as Berkeley. But they're doing that because they want to keep their bottom line number as high as possible and your numbers as low as possible without seeming inhumane. And that's just what's going on. Okay? Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I feel a little bit lighter now, but yet unhappy. So, thanks for hanging in there, and I hope to be making videos again. This COVID thing has been really rough. On that note, I know I'm going to be back at it soon, and there's some really, really great stuff coming up. Thanks for sticking with me, and take care, lads. I'll see you soon, hopefully. You're welcome. Wait, what are you asking? Where can you read the article? Yeah, thanks, Inside Jazz Guitar. I appreciate that. Much love to you, mate. Much love. You can get it at change.org and just search support Berkeley faculty. Support Berkeley faculty. Much love to all you guys. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to get the channel to grow, and your kind words really mean a lot to me.